Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Twinbee 3 for the Nintendo Famicom. In this 1989 shoot-'em-up from Konami, Twinbee has been kidnapped by the Demon King Poco Poco, and now it's up to Twinbee and Winbee to rescue him. Normally I'd be against this, since I prefer to have the least number of bees in the same place as possible, but these bees are adorable spaceships and not irritable stinging bugs, so sign me up. This game feels like a perfection of the 8-bit Twinbee formula. And what is that formula exactly? Well, aside from your standard fly-through auto-scrolling stages, blasting enemies, and fighting bosses, Twinbee has a few unique elements. First off is the bombing mechanic, where you use short-range explosives in tandem with your cannon to take out ground-based enemies, like metronomes, starfish, and gopher coal miners. There is a targeting system for bombs to lock onto them, but it can still be difficult to land hits since the range is exceptionally short. You've really got to invade those gophers' personal space, which puts you in danger of getting beamed by one of their projectiles, and you lose an arm each time that happens, like a rowdy kid's unfortunate action figure who's been left with more trauma than limbs after a few rigorous sandbox battles. Luckily for Twinbee, an ambulance icon can restore your arms, and by extension your ability to keep dropping bombs, which is particularly handy for finding hidden items behind ground targets, like candies that give you a spread shot, question marks that clear all enemies from the screen, and a matchstick that turns the next bell you shoot into a flaming invincibility power-up. When you collect one of those, you can destroy anything on screen just by running into it, and unlike the practical reality implications of setting yourself on fire, you sustain no damage. Yet another reason why being a video game spaceship is better than being a real-life person. Oh, and aside from the matchsticks and question marks, there's also a Dr. Cinnamon icon that lets you play a bonus stage filled with bells to rack up your high score. Speaking of which, the other notable element here is the bell power-ups, which cycle through different colors for various upgrades as you juggle them with your cannon. Blue and white for speed boosts and multi-shots, red for lasers, flashing red for shadow ships that shoot along with you, and flashing blue for a shield. Twinbee 3 seriously refined the whole bell power-up formula from the previous entries in the series. Not only can you equip both shields and shadow doubles at the same time now, but you can keep collecting shields to maintain them before they wear off. And what's more, the bells give you some extra leeway of a couple shots before cycling to the next color, just in case you fired one too many times when you meant to stop on blue or red or something. It's a small change that makes a huge difference. I mean, imagine if accidentally pushing the button at a crosswalk twice instead of once meant you'd be stuck at a red light forever. All those impatient people who pound on it a million times as if that actually makes a difference might just implode out of sheer frustration. Twinbee 3 has some really unique boss battles too, since there's a distinct gimmick to each of them, like the ghost band who attacks you with music notes, and the dragon with a toothache who needs your help to get rid of all these little plaque gremlins in its mouth. It's kind of adorable, which is pretty much the case for this game's whole visual aesthetic. As an entry in one of classic gaming's premier cute-em-up franchises, Twinbee 3 is full of cartoony pastel monsters and landscapes, like banana trains on an island shore, volcano turtles in a medieval land, and, whatever the last level is. Some kind of perpetually under construction neon checkerboard dimension with cannons, electric fans, jack-o'-lanterns, and playing cards. I may not understand it, but I sure do love it. And there's even more to love here with the music and sound design. If I'm not mistaken, Twinbee 3 is programmed with a souped-up VRC chip that enables extra audio features, which Konami used as an excuse for the liberal application of bongo drum sound effects and digitized voices announcing the name of each stage. It sounds like some guy at the end of an echoey linoleum hallway speaking into one of those electric fans from level 5, but I really can't fault it, because the effect is just so charming. My favorite part of this game is how brief and accessible it is. It's a perfect pick-up-and-play shooter, since finishing a run through all 5 stages only takes like 20 minutes, and with adjustable difficulty settings, it isn't hard to clear once you get the hang of it. I used a TurboFire controller, chose Winbee as my playable character since she has a longer-lasting shield, and maxed out my lives to 10. But that wasn't even necessary in the end, since I only died once or twice. And even when you do die, the ghost of your ship can be collected after you respawn to get back all the power-ups you had when you bit the dust. It's like the 5-second rule where you pretend it's okay to eat that sandwich you dropped on the floor as long as you pick it back up fast enough. Except here, you collect the ghost of your former self and get laser cannons, whereas in the 5-second rule analogy, you collect a dusty sandwich and get violently ill from foot germs the next day. If I could change one thing here, I'd tone down the speed boosts. It's really easy to accidentally grab a bunch of them, but your ship starts to get pretty unwieldy after just one. It reminds me of the first time I tried driving a moped. I was a bit too eager to hit the gas and almost took out a fence. It's better than running into a volcano turtle, but either way, I like to live under 10 miles an hour as much as possible. Overall, Twinbee 3 won my heart, and it's my new favorite 8-bit cute-em-up. I wish I could live in the castle stage and hang out with that toothache dragon all the time. Who needs a dentist anyway when you've got friends with laser cannons?